What's going on, guys? I'm Zach from the Lumios Post, where we talk about all things Pokemon, and today we're going to be talking about some of the weirdest, or coolest, depending on how you look at it, dex entries in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. And what better way than to start off with a Paldean Pokemon that makes no sense, and that is Rabska. So, Rabska's Scarlet dex entry says that the body that supports the ball barely moves. Therefore, it is thought that the true body of this Pokemon is actually inside the ball. Whereas Violet says an infant sleeps inside the ball. Rabska rolls the ball soothingly with its legs to ensure the infant sleeps comfortably. So, which is it? Because one deck says that in the ball is a infant that is sleeping, and one says that it's actually the true form of Rabska in there. So, which is it? I'm inclined to believe that it is the Violet one that's correct on here, because if you look really closely at the ball, you actually can make out what's in there. You can even see its eyes, and that body shape is very similar to the little pattern you can see on Relor's stomach. So I do think that's it, even though this thing kind of just looks like a Wormadam, to be real with you, or a Burmy. But yeah, I mean, it's weird though that they gave us in the same game a dex entry that says, hey, the true form of this Pokemon is actually in the ball, and then in the same games there's a dex entry that says it's actually an infant in the ball. And I don't know, that's just, someone didn't, collaborate on that, like someone wasn't told something. I don't know, I just think that's funny. So moving into something else that's a little contradictory, we have Shellos. So first we're going to look at the Violet dex entry for the West Sea Shellos, which is the pink one. It says that there are more West Sea Shellos now than there were in the past. Well, if we hop over to Violet or Scarlet, and look at East Sea Shellos, it says that this Shellos is actually decreasing in number. So, in the world of Pokemon Violet, there is less of the West Sea or pink Shellos, and in the world of Pokemon Scarlet, there is less of the East Sea or blue Shellos. But now let's look at Gastrodon's dex entries. So it says in Pokemon Scarlet for the West Sea Gastrodon, again the pink one, that in the past this form was by far the more numerous one. And then if you look at the Violet dex entry for the EC or Blue Gastrodon, it says that this form of Gastrodon is now increasing in number. So you see, it's a little contradictory. In Scarlet, it seems that the blue is dwindling, and in Violet, it seems that the pink is dwindling. But then when they evolve, that seems to change too. So this one's a little hard to wrap your head around, because if there's more of the EC Gastrodon, there should be more of the EC Shellos too, because when an EC Gastrodon breeds, it will produce an EC Shellos. And same thing for the West Sea Shellos and Gastrodon, right? I imagine that you can just chalk this up to timeline shenanigans. We know that Violet is set in one timeline, Scarlet set in another. We know this because Violet has the Uva Academy, Scarlet has the Naranja Academy. You battle different professors, you see different Paradox Pokemon, there's even different version exclusives, so it can be explained with that, but even still, it's just a little contradictory that, it still says, if you look at the Violet version specifically, that the West Sea Shellos is greater in number, but the EC Gastrodon is greater in number. That's just so strange to me, but anyways, that's just my rant for the day. Now, let's go back to some Paldean Pokemon, and what better way than to go to one that's captured the hearts of many in Palafin. And yes, that was a heart joke because of Palafin. Yeah, I'm very funny. Subscribe. Okay, so in its Violet dex entry, it says, or Scarlet dex entry, excuse me, it says that this Pokemon's ancient genes have awakened. its dex entry for its hero form, implying that this hero form is actually Palafin accessing ancient genes and awakening them, which means that this is what Palafin used to look like in the past. So I think it'd be really cool if we got like a paradox of Palafin one day, a past paradox that is this superhero form, but it's just the superhero form. It doesn't have to switch between battles or between Pokemon to change form. It is just its Pokemon in itself. Or if like one day perhaps we got a Legends game and in it your Palafin had a regional variant that was just the hero form. I don't know. I think that's really, really cool though that it says that this hero form is activated by its genes awakening, and we do have a video on this later because this is even more important than it seems. Now, moving into another water Pokemon in the Paldean region, we have Lugtrio, and this is just very interesting to me. It's not as crazy or mind-bending as the others, but it says in Pokemon Violet that Lugtrio was once considered to be a regional form of Dugtrio. And this is just interesting to me because, you know, it's some nice little history to the Pokemon world. You know, there's plenty of things that we've done in our world where we said something was one thing, but further studying showed that it actually wasn't. You know, we used to think that the solar system revolved around Earth, and now we know all the planets revolve around the sun. So, things like that existed in the Pokemon world. They saw Lugtrio and at first went, hey, that's a Paldean Dugtrio. But they then realized, wait, no, this is another species. Dugtrio is a mammal. This is a fish. So it's nice to just get that sense of, I guess, scientific advancement in the Pokemon games and kind of science history in the Pokemon games. I like to see things like that. Just world building. Maybe you all won't be as crazy on that as I am, but I love that. Now, next we have Grievard. And for Grievard, it says that it is said that a dog Pokemon that died in the wild without ever interacting with a human was reborn as this Pokemon. Now, the interesting thing about this is it says that this was a dog Pokemon that became this thing. And it does say it is said, so it's all legend. But it does pose an interesting question. That is, Grievard, and especially if you look at Houndstone, is clearly dead. I mean, Houndstone's straight up like a skeleton. Well, what was the thing that died? Because their body type, their skull structure, doesn't match any of the, you know, dog Pokemon that we currently have, especially not the ones that live in Paldea. You know, there's Arcanine, Lycanroc, there's Doxbun, and Mabostive. I hate the way that name is. But none of these seem to match. So is this a Pokemon that used to exist and no longer does? You know, perhaps it was even a fire type, which is why Grievard has the little candle. Or maybe it's a rock type, for why Houndstone has the tombstone on it. I think it would be really cool if, you know, say in 95, we get a Legends Paldea game, and we got to see a variant of Grievard and Houndstone that was the true Pokemon, or even if we got a paradox at some point of these Pokemon that were the true form of them. You know, I think that would be really, really neat. I'd love to see it. But yeah, let me know your thoughts on this. Let me know your thoughts on all of these. If you think there's a dex entry that's super interesting or super weird or kind of just changes how we see the Pokemon world, be sure to let me know about it in the comments below. Be sure to also like, subscribe, and hit the bell for notifications so you don't miss all of our future Pokemon videos. I love talking about these new Pokemon. It's a lot of fun, and I definitely plan to keep doing it. So if you don't want to miss that, then like, subscribe, and hit the bell. Until next time, I will see all of you later.